So, welcome to our first PAS pod. Thank you for tuning in and listening. It's been a very busy week for me and Phil. We've started pre-season back at the club. I've actually been twice. But Phil, how have you found it?
Yeah, I think turnout's been good, considering we're only allowed groups of six, which makes things a little bit more difficult for Nathan and myself. But the lads that have turned up have enjoyed it, I hope. And hopefully we'll keep it going and keep it fun as well, because if we're not playing for a few more months, then there's no point just constantly flogging everyone for 4 months. So yeah, we'll keep it going. But yeah, it was tough, really tough.
Yeah, it was. I felt a little bit out of place the first time we did the Bronco, and then even more out of place as I was trying to pick myself off the floor. First Malcolm. And never it was good. It's just good to get the lads back together. A lot of faces turned up, so that was good. Some young lads as well. And you're doing the academy from, is it 6:30 the academy training from?
Yeah, doing academy 6:30 till 7:30, and then first team from about 7:45 till 9.
Yeah.
So we try and separate that, just because if we had them all together, then we'd need to use all 3 pitches essentially, which becomes very difficult when there's only 2 coaches. I mean, the only thing that wasn't pre-season like was the weather. That was pretty horrendous for the 2 sessions. So
yeah, it was vile.
Next week at least we can get the vests on, and Ollie Collingham will be a lot happier.
I was just about to say there's a few people crying out for a vest. I think Ollie had a vest over some skins on Thursday night. I think there's a few people crying to get a vest out. I'm not. Lines of a van driver. It's horrible. It's horrible. So we've just got off from speaking to Dog. So that was some cracking stories in there. Is there one thing in particular you want people to listen out for, or is it just listen and see what you think?
I think you get a good impression that Doug's imprint in rugby isn't just on the pitch. And I think he is known for his off-field prowess, I think is probably the nice way to put it. But no, I think it was a good conversation. I think Doug's given us a good starter.
Yeah, definitely. And he's a true club captain, isn't he? Kind of loves Pavs and loves everyone and everything to do with it. So, so it was a good chat, and we hope you enjoy. So, obviously, like we said, we're here with club captain plus his sandwich for today. So, Doug Billam, the captain of the club. So, he's sixth year club captain. He's been at the club since he was born, been playing since the minis. He's a massive sevens enthusiast. And since 2016, he has played 105 out of 112 competitive matches for Pavs, scoring 47 tries, which I guess sounds impressive if you don't know much about rugby. But he has also represented the Scottish Exiles, and for one fixture against Belgium, the Scottish Under-20s. But Doug Billam, I've got a question for you. What is the Billam effect?
Just get together. International teams coming together, as it was. Mostly off the pitch in a positive way, sharing good stories and good beer and rather good wine.
Rather good
wine. I mean, the beer was okay, I guess. The Belgians do fancy themselves on that front, but I think the French guys who were there brought some wine along to the after-tournament festival. I got man of the tournament. Not sure whether it was a performance on the pitch or off, to be quite honest. But
I think I know you well enough to probably say it was on the pitch. But was the wine red, white, or pink? What did they bring with them?
when it went in, it was red and white. When it came out, it was pink.
I think there's a few doctors in Europe you should probably have contacted at that point, mate.
Some great doctors in Europe, mate.
Well,
But yeah, it's going to be like the whole time. How deep have you dug on this? You've gone
deep
right.
I think deep enough. I mean, considering
got a nice French tie out of it, so I'll take that.
Fair play. I mean,
I'd like to say that I was, under the wing of a more senior Scot at that stage. I was rooming with. I was first up for breakfast, so it must have. I can't say that for every time.
No, I mean, we'll move on from this gripping conversation about your time.
Leave me quickly
with the Scots and the Billam affair. So we'll try to get an answer out of you for question 2. It's not a question, but just kind of
this seat is now feeling very hot, by the way. It's a good way.
It wasn't this season.
So at the time, I asked you guys, like, what are we doing then?
So okay. If I had just come to Nottingham and I met you in a pub and I want to play rugby, what experience have you had at Paviors which you could relate to me to say, Tom, you need to play for Pavs? Why is it Pavs that we need to play for?
Well, I guess from my perspective, like, I've not played for a lot of other clubs, and I guess that's because I've never felt like I'd missed out on anything anywhere else. So obviously people sort of outside the club listen to it and be like, oh yeah, but you've never played here, you've never played there. Close friends that have played down at Bridge North and other sort of really good clubs. But Paviors, and I think it's something that's sort of a bit ethereal. Everybody has this opinion of it, which is like reassuring, especially for me. It's obviously spent since I was 4 years old playing at the club with my brother, all the way through. There's just there's something about it, and an atmosphere, a real sort of a family club that sort of cares for each other, and just knows good rugby, appreciates good rugby and everything around it. So, yeah, I'd say that. I prefer that question rather than someone saying describe it in 3 words. I thought I was going to get that. I was going through all the little cliche questions in my head and thought, a good question caught me by surprise. But yeah, it's like no other. I don't think. I say it's like no other. I've just made the point of not playing at a different club, but there's nothing missing there for me. So that's the reason I've done representative stuff and then come back, play for the family club. And likewise, people like Phil obviously played at a really high level, Nottingham, Doncaster Knights, come back. There's something there, and you can't get it anywhere else.
Yeah, I think obviously my family as well has got quite strong ties to the club. Doug's, dad and uncle went to High Pavement. My dad went to High Pavement. Molly, big Phil Molly went to High Pavement. So we've all kind of got a family tie to the club, and there is some kind of draw to come back. But I've never really left. I've always been in a coaching role, either at senior or academy level. There is something special about it, but it's quite hard to put your finger on exactly what it is.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I moved to Nottingham obviously in 2012, and I've been playing for a team back in Gillingham. And the first time I came to Pavs, the first time I wore the shirt, it was quite clear that it was not just playing for a rugby team, it was playing for a family and an extended family as well. And you walk into the clubhouse and you just talk to people and everyone loves each other, and it sounds ridiculous, but we'll do anything for each other at Pavs. I mean, I'm sure other clubs are the same, but when you've been integrated into a club so quickly and what have you, it's very easy just to fall in love with the one shirt, isn't it? And kind of always feel drawn back to the stump, I think, definitely. I mean, obviously we'll look to kind of coming seasons in a bit, but Doghound, I guess, Phil, you can answer this as well, but it must be great looking through what we've gone through as a club the last 2-3 seasons and turning to your left and your right on the pitch and seeing the blokes you've been playing rugby with since what, kind of 7, 8 maybe earlier. What's that how does that feel? Because that must be a pretty special.
Yeah, massively. I mean, for me, the time that I was coming into being captain, or the start of my captaincy, obviously there's players before me who'd captain, like Stephen Allen, Nathan, obviously Ollie Conningham as well, which are like notable people who have all come through the ranks at Pavs, all sort of part of your social group as well. So really good for sort of seeing how it's done. But with regards to the sort of the playing group, when our age group broke into the first team, obviously there's like Josh Hall, Joe Crossland, there's people like Kieran as well in there, and also John T and Bobby, who we played a lot with through Colts and that age group above, Will Crossley. Get him a mention in there, or he'll cry. Yeah, but that, it was really nice because it felt like an age group, because obviously we come up all the way through. There's, I think, and that year there was something like 15 or 16 and 18 that had been through juniors and minis, and so it's really nice to say, but it's even better when you're playing with your mates, really. So that's what I'd say.
Yeah, no, definitely. And obviously you've been, like we said, you've been at the club for a few number of years now, considering you're nearly ripened. But we did some digging, and I'd just like to know if you still pack your own bag when you go away, and do you make sure you pack the essentials, kind of referring to a tour in the northeast. Is there anything you forgot when you went on this tour? Because Guru told us you forgot something quite vital to rugby.
And you know what? This is one of the blessings when you live my life. So went on tour, obviously run through all we want to do is just get on the coach, right? Parents there. I'm not sure how old we are, maybe 9 or 10. Mini rugby tour to South Shields up there somewhere.
Yeah, you're in the northeast. Yeah.
Well, don't you know that? Yeah, so we went up there and then got to the tournament. Nice tournament there, some good teams. I don't want to get the tournament confused because coming up through, managed to go on a record number of minis tours. Me and Joe Collingham, but I forgot my boots essentially. That's the long and short of it. Forgot my boots. Went into lost property. Found the best pair of boots you'll ever find. My size fit better than the ones I had for my birthday. Birthday's in September, so classic standard. Start of the rugby season. Pair of boots for the membership. Cheers, thank you very much. Happy birthday.
And what were the boots? Guru made a big noise about what boots they were.
Did you really? It's not like Guru.
Yeah, he didn't know. He didn't know what they were. But obviously, because they weren't just black and like leather.
Didn't have to gaffer tape them up.
No, they were. I'm just reminiscing now. Thinking about those boots. I think they were some Nike Legends or something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, Tiempo Legends.
Yeah, I think he said that. The only time I managed to fit into them, and they feel a bit narrow now. So.
Still try them on.
Yeah. No, honestly, I remember it. You know, this sort of, you ever been in a situation where you think, oh no, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Going through these changing room, like old school lost property. Imagine like your PE lost property. The stuff that
Nick is in a vest.
Forgotten a kit. Let's get him in some rascal. This was like this property. I thought, I'm not giving up. There's going to be 2 boots in here at the match. If not, I'll do it in whatever trainers I had on, or borrow some size 11s off somebody. And yeah, found this dream pair of boots. It was like,
I mean, but there's another question that we were given. Well, it refers to a tour and a potential secret on said tour. Obviously, this information came from Guru. I don't think I need to say the name of the tour.
I wonder why he's gone on holiday.
I wonder where he's gone on holiday. I think it's. I mean, if you can name me the tour, we might think about you being able to avoid the question. What tour do you think we're on about?
The Paviors tour.
It is
I
a
believe so.
As a clue, you don't need to go far down the alphabet. Probably a letter.
Biarittz.
Yeah, so I'm not going to avoid the question. So what happened? What happened?
Lots of stuff happened. International tournament, played against Montauban, University of Paris, all sorts of stuff. Red cards getting handed out left, right, and centre for dunk tackles, which we didn't know wasn't a thing in France at the time. No one told us that.
I mean, I'm not, if I'm honest, Doggy, I'm not really about what happened on the pitch. No, people who play rugby know it's not always about on the pitch, is it? Let's be honest.
I don't know what part of this tour you're referring to that I might have been involved in or had some influence over. There's a lot of free spirits in our age group when we were coming through, so...
The comment I've got written down here is, what do you remember?
Lots. What? Is that because I've claimed ignorance?
You can plead the fifth if you want, mate, but...
You tell us what happened. Well, there's a few things. Like I say, I'm not sure what the rating is of the podcast. There's a few.
I think it depends on what you say now.
Actually, blast from the past. Niall Tulip learned French before he went. Great. Every Englishman going to Europe should learn a bit of French. Unfortunately, Niall's. I guess the only thing he learnt was, "Do you want to fight Big Nose?" And he managed to find somebody on the beach. We had this nice beachfront hotel, and there was two young ladies French young ladies walking down the beach together. And Niall just went up to her and said, "Do you want to fight Big Nose?" And at that point, she face changes and just bolts after him. Fair play to Niall. He absolutely legged it. In the back of the hotel, through some people's random windows that were open and running through just to get away from this. Well, I guess he was. It turned out to be an athlete because I think it was the most scared he'd ever been. There's some other occasions as well.
What age group was this?
It's under 15s. So that stage.
Probably not dissimilar to mine and George's tour of Lille at under 15s as well.
Yeah. So you're like a good international. Obviously, if you're there, is an international tournament anyway. So, but it sounds better if you say it. Yeah, I heard some stories from that tour. It's a nice little deflection, that is.
Yeah, I thought I'd jump in and save you. We were in a hotel. We were in a hotel across the road from a supermarket, and I think it was Big Chris Olive walked into the supermarket. He had a beard. He had a beard at the age of 9. Walked into the supermarket and tried to buy beer, and he got it. So we were like, "Oh, geez, let's all have a go." So, like 30 young lads pile into this French supermarket, all with beer.
Come on, lads.
Boys were in. Yeah, and just I just remember Gary walking up and down the corridors, being like, "Right, everyone in their rooms," and then he'd just be turn his back, and everyone would just shoot across the corridor.
Yeah, that sounds about right. We were in Biarittz. Went out in Biarittz. Montauban. I think we were playing Biarittz at the time. Anyway, like you're saying, we walked into a bar, sit down, civilised pint, watched rugby. Had to meet back, sort of outside this really posh hotel that was on the cliff top. And then when we went back at the appropriate time, everybody thought, well, we don't really want to go home yet. So everybody piled into the museum, like you're saying, walking to those sort of shops, beer everywhere, fireworks everywhere. Oh, wow. So we're obviously on the way back, obviously these fire again, pardon the pun, these fireworks have been in a hole in everybody's pocket. The coaches have obviously been responsible, gone back to the meeting point, correct time. Don't want to incriminate any of them. They don't need the help. And then when we went back, so to get, like I say, we were actually on the beach, this big hotel, so we had to come down the cliff. A couple of people, there's like a large, like not sewage pipes, but pipes going out to the sea, like grey waste out to the sea in places where we were going down. And all you heard was a, right? Somebody let off a little rocket, and then all of a sudden, everyone thinks, well, what are we going to do with all these fireworks? Can't just take them in and put them in our wardrobes like we have done with all the beer. Worst tactical decision ever, by the way, put everything in one person's wardrobe. Trying to handle the alcohol into Colling's wardrobe. I think it might have been his idea. He didn't have a great tour anyway, for whatever reason. And yeah, these fireworks are firing off. They're only little fireworks, but firing them at each other. A lot of that went off. A lot of holes in people's shirt. I've actually still got a t-shirt that's got a hole in the back of it where somebody hit me with a firework, it melted in, and then you got a little hole there. Little mementos you keep. And there's a couple playing shirts actually that were in like people's messy dorm rooms. And the old smoke bomb throw in. Smoke bombs get really hot, but they never ignite. So they were just melting through I'm not sure what brand they were at the time. Maybe Quickfire. Oh, I don't know what brand they were, but
that's going a long way back. That is.
Yeah, our numbers were all over the place. Didn't have a 5 shirt for like 3 seasons because we threw a smoke bomb for a room or whatever. But yeah, there's bits and bobs. It was nice though. Those sorts of things where we'd all go down for dinner. Everybody gets dressed for dinner. Everybody has a piece of entertainment that they do after dinner to share with everyone. It's just really nice get those opportunities as a young lad to share with everybody else and to give a bit of a glimpse of your character. Especially some of the guys' parents were there, and they didn't know that's what they would come up with. But
it's
everybody having a good time. Free wine, free wine there out of a barrel, straight out of the barrel.
It's times like that where we look back as kind of older players now. I guess we're as seniors. We look back on our junior kind of times playing. We just go, if it weren't for that type of stuff, I may never have kept playing on and the same lads that we've been playing in for years. So it's quite a special time to look back and do stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, it is 100%. To have those opportunities when you're young, rugby isn't really an expensive sport to play. I think sometimes you go into, I don't know, everybody thinks that everybody who plays money's really loaded or whatever, but realistically, then it was even cheaper, but now it's 120 quid for the whole year. And with that, you get so much. And I think the club at the moment, certainly at Paviors, we're starting to look into how people get the value out of that. It's not only sort of the legacy and the networks you make there, it's the sort of entertainment side and the social structure. Yeah. Good looking.
We are taking £5 from everyone's subs next season just to fund this podcast.
Yeah. And I feel like I've told some good stories badly. So does that mean I'm off the hook?
Right, Doug. We'll move on to the quickfire answers section. So some of them are sort of multiple choice, or there's 2 options, not really multiple choice, and some of them you're going to have to quickly think about the first name or word that comes to your mind when I ask you that question. Right? So please don't take unnecessary amounts of time to answer like you do at all the quizzes we've had during lockdown.
Yeah, right.
20 minutes late, 20-minute answer.
Okay. Just try and come back nice and sharp. Right, so let's start. Red or green?
Green.
Best beer?
Big Bang Theory. Neat Valley Brewery.
I thought you missed the question.
12 or 13?
13.
Lager or ale?
Ale.
Best Billam?
Harriet.
Boobs or butt?
But
Scotland or England?
Scotland.
15s or 7s?
Last year, 15s. The rest of the time, 7s.
Favourite opposition?
Favourite opposition?
I've been back at the quiz.
I like getting it right. I don't want to, regret.
There's no wrong answers, mate.
Let's say last year, original, although I didn't play him away.
No, we didn't get to, did we? And then final one, John T or Jim?
John T or Jim? Jim.
Right, I want a reason. What's the reason?
You know what? John T, no John T longer, but
Yeah.
Jim, we've been through a lot together without actually realising. Like, we did a lot of junior rugby together. We also then went to uni together. Then we did the Exiles together. Now in the first team together. But he's going to New York next year, not coming to our wedding. So,
Well, I mean, I would take his invite.
so the story ends, I guess.
There we go. Just before we move on to the next question, we thought I just remembered we had a question via social media.
Love Johnny though. Back in there, it's not because he's a weasel.
A question from social media came from Mr. T. Collier. Never heard of him. He says, I'm a long-time listener, first-time contributor. Big fan of the show. My question for Captain Doug is, he played pretty much across the back line in the last year, but what is your favourite position in the back line?
In the back line?
In the back line. Well, you're not a pack member yet, are you?
Played 7 this year.
Played every position but tight prop. In the back line, do you know what? I used to like 10, but then
You realised your brother was better.
yeah. Also, I didn't like some days some games there's less freedom at 10 ultimately, and that's why I don't like 10 so much. 12's great. Like to have the hands on the ball distributor role. 13 is where I've been put, really. Played all junior rugby at 9, 10, 12. Senior rugby 13. Most of my tries there. Most of them
Welcome.
Crossley.
Oh, what are you on about? What the stats here? What the stats here?
He's got his
What the stats
paper.
here? The season you got your most tries, you played outside me.
Oh no, yeah, but that's one season. That's one season. When I was
That's the only stat I give it down. Just me.
How many? Did you ask your leading questions about how many tries he's just got when he's been?
No, I've got them here.
You gave him
In the season with Will Crossley, you scored 21.
Yeah. Okay.
The season with me, you got 24.
Okay. Fair enough.
You can say sorry, Doug, if you want.
No, rather not. I think I was one off top try scorer or joint top try scorer of the year. I was 21 tries, so that's maybe what.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
A wing Leighton Buzzard, I think. Was that right?
Oh, I haven't got that much detail.
We'll say yes for the sake of discussion.
Yeah. So top try scorer last year as well. Was that right, Phil?
It was, yeah, you picked me right at the end.
You know what? I don't not normally bother about that. Never kept count or anything, but last year was amazing for me. The top
Do you mean the
scorer.
promotion year? Promotion year.
Promotion year.
Yeah.
Top try scorer was amazing because I was probably about 15 behind.
Yeah. You scored like 3 hat-tricks in like the last 5 games or something.
It's only because you guys were just talking about it so much in the change room. Barton.
It was Barton. Barton every week. How many tries have you got now? How many tries have you got now?
Just be like, oh no. I think Phil's on like 18 now. You know, he's really doing well. You know full well that I was on 19. And like, there's something about that in general. Actually, I quite like the joke that nobody knows about, not even anybody else. But it seems to entertain me. But yeah, thanks for that, Phil. You really made my season.
Yeah, you're welcome. I reckon I probably gave you about 4 assists actually, but
probably. Probably. I didn't realise I scored 24 though. That's a lot.
Yeah, I got 22 and I think Barton got 23.
Wow.
So it was pretty close. We scored some tries that year. Yeah.
George scored a lot of tries as well because his points, that's when he beat my dad's points record.
Yeah.
Amazing amount of tries, but all from 2 yards.
George's? Oh, yeah.
Tries a try, innit? Try.
Yeah.
Tries a try.
And you haven't got yards down there, have you? You haven't got that stat. Now we know why.
From a third/second team, second row, a try is a try. Literally, where it comes from, a try is a try. I think that might be the biggest tragedy. Actually, is you've not ever played outside me in a backline, dog. I think that could be a try fest for potentially the opposition.
For the opposition.
Yeah, for the opposition. And another question we got on another question we got on social media does link into a question we had pre-planned anyway. But what do we see for the coming seasons as a team and as a club?
Sorry, was there something else? I feel like I cut you off.
No, I just nearly read out question mark. So you can anyone can answer away.
Now we know it's a question. I think we'll. It'll be one of those years that maybe it's shorter, maybe it be the same amount of time. I personally think we'll get started before January. I think obviously with a lot of these sort of infection control things that we're finding out, actually everybody's expectations of it is are being managed in a way. So obviously we know that RFU have to act from second hand from what the government's saying, and we have to go strictly with what our governing body RFU say and being compliant with what they're doing. But I feel like we might be going ahead before January, or I think that we had a conversation the other night about how we're doing. Preseason started, and how we're going to keep it so interesting, and it doesn't need to be because everybody's absolutely loving it. But at the same time, it won't be that long until we're back in, and everybody who's been on off season knows that it comes around like it's snapping of the fingers anyway. And the fact that everybody's expecting it to be January time and all this sort of stuff, I don't know. Maybe that's the optimist in me. I'm guilty for that. But I think it will come around sooner than certainly we expect. Even whether that's purely on the date or whether that's how it's going to feel for us. But I think it's a season that we're going to get a lot of value out of. Certainly with the league structure that's going on with the first team, it actually, gives you the opportunity to redefine where you are, and for whatever reason, when details are boring and sorted out by someone in the office. But I think for the club, leading up to 2022, it's a year that we can really sort of double down on what we are enjoying at the moment, what's to come that we're really excited about, and just double down, raise that money, get the extension, so more people can enjoy it all.
Yeah, definitely. I think exciting for Pavs, but it should be exciting for everyone who plays for semi-pro / amateur rugby team, is the fact that we've got potentially 2 seasons to develop the Colts and the year below the Colts to start to play senior rugby and get integrated into what it is. Because we'd all remember our first senior game of rugby, and it is quite different to juniors and Colts level. But we've got so much time now to develop a future in the sport that actually we should really cherish this. Although it is rubbish, like we'd all want to be able to run out in 2 months' time, but we might not be running out for 4 months' time or whatever. But we've got the time to invest in the future, which I think that probably as a sport we've been crying out for, but maybe we've never had the opportunity to look at it like we can look at it now.
You're 100% right, and the conversations I've been in with, I think we've taken for granted for too long the sort of natural development we've had going on, and never, I'm not saying the work's not been there, because the work of people like Dave Robinson and all the development of all the coaches have been absolutely fantastic over the years, and these are the reasons why we're developing so well. The conversations that I've been having recently, we're obviously looking at the Colts, and then looking at the age groups below that, so looking at the 13s, 14s, 15s, under 13s and under 14s, under 15s. How can we give these guys the best opportunity to enjoy the best level of rugby, or to enjoy the club as much as they could do? So, completely agree with you.
Because ultimately, they're the first team of the next kind of 5, 6, 7 years, aren't they? So we wouldn't want it to die now, would we? We clearly want to keep it going. So I think we got that opportunity to find.
We want to watch rugby in a couple of years when we're retired.
I've got at least.
What are you saying? What's your clock saying?
My body clock.
Yeah.
My body clock stopped about 3 years ago, I think.
Batteries in a year's time, then you'll be flying.
Well, hopefully it's just stopped at 28 and I'll just stay there forever. I'll keep going until I'm not good enough, essentially, and then I'll just play 10s to 2s.
I said I stop when I'm not good enough, and for some reason I'm still going. So
I've played 10. I've played 12 outside you in a run through at 10.
Was it as bad as George?
That was the plan, wasn't it?
The next question.
It actually ruined my evening.
Phil at 10.
I mean, I'm used to picking passes off the bootlaces. Shout out to George.
Never available for the pod, George. Never been available.
What's that?
George wasn't available tonight for the pod.
Oh, right, okay. Now I'm not interested. Why you got me on? He's actually camping, so there is some truth in that.
Don't worry about it. We didn't ask him.
We didn't.
Yeah.
I know you didn't. He's really keen to take over. You know, I talked earlier about, did I accidentally apply for this? Is it going to be like an interview to do the pod? Careful, George. It'll be his pod soon.
It already is.
Bless him. Bless him.
Be George the Pav.
So we'll have Pav's pod against George the Pav's pod.
There's plenty of pods to happen. But yeah, looking forward to it. Enjoying. Hopefully there's a few more socials happening. The picnic went down a treat, didn't it, Phil?
Tell you what a picnic.
To be fair, yeah, I'm seeing a few familiar faces on this of who's the last picnic.
Yeah, I think it might have been the 3 families currently on the screen. That's one there.
Well, when you donate so heavily to the NHS, you've got to make sure you have a good time. So
yeah,
indeed. I mean, we worked out where we could put a cricket pitch, and we were throwing some rubber apparatus around the pitch for a bit. So
you were throwing it. I was rolling it.
To be fair, the only thing I've got against you two and George was I was the only one that could throw that properly. player could throw a rubber disc better than 3 first teamers. So I'll take that, put that on the CV. Should we move on to rugby memories?
Okay. Who's yours?
Well,
Yeah, so we wanted to know, Doug, we wanted to know what your worst rugby memory is.
Worst rugby memory? We played at Ashfield. In the winter. Pretty much every other ground was frozen. Ashfield, we played at the school against Ashfield Rugby Club. And terrible windy day. If you play in the school pitches, you get sort of allocated a school pitch, which is like miles away from anything. So it's like the bleak mile. But yeah, we're miles away from anything. It's raining, sleeting. Charged down a kick, went over, picked the ball up, dived on the ball to score. Amazing, right? Walking back to the halfway line. Or did I take the kick? Or there's no kicks because of the conditions. And I looked down at my knee, and there's a big hole in my knee. And what had happened was I charged down the kick and landed on what I found out later to be an old goal post, like concrete block with it's concrete block that had an old.
That's horrible.
Yeah, and it went. Took a little chip of my kneecap off. And obviously ripped hole in my knee. And yeah, I went to Kings Mill. Guy from Chesterfield stitched me up, but he had his finger inside my knee, checking for like debris because we didn't know what caused it. So because it was so cold, I didn't feel it until it warmed up. And I remember my sister was there on the day, and she sort of pulled the mud out of this hole with her finger.
So she was a bit of a medical miracle from the get-go.
Yeah, she's always was going to be a doctor, always. So I think photos when she was 5 and she was like using like a pretend syringe or little doctor toys on my dad. That photo went out. Chuck it up here somewhere.
Yeah,
anyway,
I'll make sure it's on the edit.
And I distinctly remember Chris Collingham. Took me in his Land Rover at the time, and obviously he's quite sort of understated, nice, lovely, well-spoken gentleman. He said, "Well, Doug, that doesn't look very nice at all, does it?"
and we'll quickly move on to that because we've all had 1 or 2 bad memories, but I know probably all 3 of us have had amazing memories playing rugby. But what is the best moment you've had playing rugby?
Best moment playing rugby. I think promotion was very good. I think there was a lot of people there to share it with that had wanted the same thing for a long time, and for that reason, it's definitely up there. I think I would probably go for that. There's other sort of personal wins that hold less gravity, but that way you can share it and people talk about it in a few years' time, or definitely the appreciation and the sharing the feeling with other people. I'd say that was definitely up there. Sorry if that's a cliche answer, but
I think that's a fair answer. That's I've played quite a bit of rugby at varying standards, and that is definitely my favourite memory by a million miles, because it was a bloody good game for a start. Like, really enjoyed the game, and me and you, we had to look after their best player by far for the entire game, and it was just a proper back and forth game. And I think that moment when they broke through and scored, and the ref said that was time up, I genuinely just could not believe that we'd done it.
Yeah,
it was a bit of disbelief, and then so the first person I hugged or just happened to be next to was George, and considering that George was the person who got me into playing rugby at 14, that was pretty special. And then obviously my brother comes to
used to be the great guy who turn up on a Saturday and watch like all the greats play. Obviously Nathan playing, my dad coaching. Me, Phil, and George, and Phil would turn up with a football.
Yeah,
that's literally what Phil was. He's a footballer.
The sport of the gods, mate.
It's just true. Yeah, it was a big day, and to have him, I wish I could remember his name now. But this happens. I drop names now and again. But for him to score that last try, I think.
Shillingford.
What you say? Sorry.
Shillingford.
That's it. For him to score an outstanding game, hell of a character as well. Credit to him. I think he deserved for some reason. I feel like they deserve more, but you can't argue with it. We were 10 points ahead with a minute to go, and he scored it under the post. And okay, maybe you look back and ask why. Maybe people knew. I don't know. Phil didn't know.
No. I was so nervous during that game that I forgot we had a scoreboard.
Yeah.
And I kept asking people what the score was.
Just look behind you.
I know.
I mean, because obviously a lot of us came up and watched who aren't first team, and someone who, like I said, joined in 2012, wasn't really ever involved in it, and then obviously the last few years I have been seeing your mates on the pitch go and do something like that, which obviously it's a first team win, but it was a club promotion, and just looking around and seeing the likes of people that played 30 years ago, seeing the likes of people who will be playing in 20 years' time and what have you, it was just an incredible day for the club. I remember there was so many tears of joy, so many pints drank, so many songs sung for a long time, and it was one of them days where you just like, oh, I was a part of that as I was there as a supporter, as a fan.
Yeah,
as a part of that, to be on the pitch must have just been a completely different gravy to anything else that you've had in the last few years.
No, I wouldn't say it's much different. I honestly, they're the sort of aspects that make special. Obviously, your heritage in the club, or your sort of pedigree with the club coming through and all that sort of stuff, and knowing that there's other people who would watch it who would then be like, oh, it's my turn to do that. That's and I think I was mentioned in the team talk as well, wasn't it, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, we do tend to talk. Obviously, me and Nathan as a brother coaching team, and have been at the club since we were, born. Essentially, a lot of it is about the club and what we're all striving to. And I think we've talked about that all year. And the group of players we had 16 lads that come through the club. The 17th is Theo, who is brother of Nathan, not mine, just to clarify, brother of Nathan. And
I want that join.
I wish he was my brother. It's just a real thing that me and Nathan are focused on. And I think, without boring people, when I came back from playing high levels, I think one of the things me and Nathan spoke about was get that atmosphere within the team, which I think had sort of dwindled a little bit.
Yeah, 100% it had.
There is 18 lads every weekend who would quite happily spend 8 hours in the clubhouse afterwards. If our wives, girlfriends, parents would let us. It's such a
yeah. I think it was a notable change, wasn't it? And I think certainly I think it's helped us realise as well how valuable the rest of the families are. It's not about like the playing, and over the years we've been trying to make as many socials as inclusive as possible. Obviously, there has currently been a reserve for like a players only event a year, a players dinner. So I think it's important to bond that way for the time on the pitch. But I think what you're saying is right, for the fact that if they let us, okay, well, actually they want us there, and now it's a place where they enjoy being, and they're organising meeting up there, and then oh you're playing as well, oh okay. And that's I think what you mean by striving to get that sort of really inclusive stuff with the family as well, and the heritage of it, a legacy, I guess. Is that what we're calling it? Is that the tag word?
You can call it on, mate.
Real club captain, you can name it what you want. But you,
Hashtag legacy.
hashtag legacy. Add that to
The buzzword. 2022 legacy.
2023
Yeah.
legacy. Yeah. And I mean, that is, I mean, I feel it in the third team is, and I'm not an outsider now, it's been 8 years, but it wants to be a family club, and we are a family club, but we want to have a bigger family. Everyone always wants to have a bigger family. It's just how humans work, isn't it? And at the end of the day, we want to develop what we've got already to get that. And Doug, you as a club captain, you're meant at doing that. So thank you for coming on today. Thanks for kind of letting out some secrets, not all. If we find out more secrets, we'll do secret videos.
Come and ask me in the clubhouse. I'll tell all.
We'll do
the
first league game we were allowed to play, and we'll get the secrets out of you after a Guinness and Port.
Kind offer.
Bill's buying.
Oh. Sounds about right.
Thanks for being on. And I appreciate the fact that you probably saved a bit of good content until later on in the series or the season. Get some better shout out. I don't know.
What you suggested about our chat?
I love love what we're doing, just adding value and creating this. So big up.
Big up. Hashtag big up. Thanks, Doggy.
No worries.
So there you go. That was the first interview with a player done. Thanks, Doug, for that. So thanks for listening. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. It's at #PavsPod. And also, if you just search PavsPod on Facebook, you get it there. You can give it a like, give us a subscribe on YouTube to see where these videos go as well, so you get notifications for that. But yeah, I guess all left to say is next week we've got a well-travelled young man coming on, our Josh Peck. So that's going to be quite a different episode, I think.
Yeah, well, there's also, I'm sure there'll be stories about his dad coming out.
Yeah, I mean, without getting Steve Peck on here, because that would be quite a difficult edit. Thing is Josh, so we can hear a lot of the stories kind of articulated slightly better than we would do. Yeah, so Josh Peck will be out. That episode, we'll get that out next weekend. So all that's left to say is, obviously we've got training on Tuesdays and Thursdays up at the club. Academy from 6:30, seniors from 7:45. And also just keep an eye out for the end of August, where there's going to be another social event that comes up. So keep your eyes on that. We'll put that on our page when we hear stuff about that as well. But it'll also be probably on the PAS website and also on the Paviors Facebook as well.
Sure.
If you want to leave us with some words of wisdom for this week ahead, Phil.
Put me on the spot there, aren't you?
I know.
No.
Hey, great. So thanks very much, everyone. And we'll speak to you next week.